going on, everybody? Finally got my setup all worked out here, where hopefully this video turns out better than the last couple. Out of here on the old KLR. Try to hit some county roads, some dirt roads, but just wanted to start doing more of these types of videos and see how y'all like them. For those that don't know or new here, my name's Tim. I live in Central Ohio, mostly around farming communities, community area, rural area. I'm just started this ride just about a mile from my house here. So this is the area that I live in. Lots of rolling hills, farmland, river valleys. And for those that also don't know, I'm fairly new to the dual sport community. I've ridden primarily street all my life. Never really rode dirt bikes much as a kid or nothing like that. Rode some ATVs off-road, but that's about it. So I'm just kind of getting into the dirty riding aspect. And it's kind of what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Just kind of share what I've learned so far to maybe some other guys out there like me that are fairly new to this whole thing. What I felt I've learned so far, this is by far going to be any kind of how-to or tutorial video. I'm just figuring things out as I go, like a lot of guys do, and just kind of share what I've learned so far, the difference between my tens of thousands, if not hundreds plus thousand miles of street riding, touring across the country on touring bikes versus what I've learned in the last few months on this bike. I'm used to a big heavy touring bike, 600 plus pounds, almost 700 pound touring bike, sport touring, not like a cruiser or nothing like that, to the old KLR. Definitely quite the opposite beast. 700 pound, 150 horsepower down to, what are these things, 520, 530, 35 horsepower. It's exactly what I wanted though. Wanted the exact opposite, and I'm pretty sure I accomplished that. It's definitely been a learning curve, even going from one bike to the other, like one day to the next. It throws you for a loop. Hard to say what the... Can't really tell you that I expected that. But I think the biggest thing I've learned is to trust the capabilities of the bike. Wow, somebody had some fun here. Look at those burnouts. Wow. We're going this way. I still get skittish on gravel, pea gravel, marbles, as I like to call them, just marble-sized gravel. But with the upgraded tires, I did go with the Motos Tractionator Adventure tires, and it was a drastic improvement. This guy's gonna let me go around him. Definitely a drastic difference from the stock tires. Most of you already know that. Stock tires are absolutely garbage, but I have way more confidence in these. See, I'm doing 40 miles per hour on this marbly gravel. Feels pretty confident. I think it's a little deeper up here. I rode this route the other day. Slow down a little bit. I think that's the biggest thing I can't get used to, is the danciness of the tires. Not really the tires, but the bike as a whole. How much the bike dances on gravel. And I think there's more grip there than I'm giving it credit for, but it does still freak me out. I do know that when you stand up, it helps the feel. I mean, that's probably one of my biggest things I need to work on, is standing up more on uneven surfaces and stuff where it just feels loose. I still just, I don't know, just not used to standing on a bike. I'm used to having that feel under your butt, and I understand standing kind of takes that little bit of a feel away from it, so you don't freak out over every little pebble that goes under your tire. But it'll all come in time. Me and my friend did take a trip down to the Smoky Mountains a couple weeks ago. Took our KLRs for the first real off-road experience. Did some of the TAT down there, the Trans-America Trail. Took Witt Road. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's a pretty gnarly road. Creek crossings, kind of unmaintained, unimproved road. And it tested our skills. I think I honestly found the limit of what I really want to put this bike through on some of that stuff down there. Not necessarily Witt Road, it wasn't super terrible, but there was some trail, call them Trail 80, Trail 81 roads down there that pretty much are not roads anymore. They're just goat paths that I really tested my skills on. Had to layer down in the mud once. Let me get dusted here. But no harm, no foul. Crash protection on the bike has done its job. And that's why I bought it. That's why I put it on here. Crash guards, hand guards, the double take mirrors have literally paid for themselves already, I feel. So any other times I drop the bike after that is now paying dividends. I'm at the break-even point. On the area I did layer down at was it was a pretty pretty bad washed out area. We honestly probably should have turned around, but we pushed through. My friend made it through unscathed, even though he said he about laid her down a couple times, but he made her through, and I hit one little washout that I wasn't going to recover from. But like I said, no harm, no foul. It's a learning experience. And on this stock tires, on this stuff here, I wouldn't be doing 40 miles per hour. I would have been creeping along at about 20, because they were sketch on this kind of surface. These tractionators feel wonderful. I haven't really played around with air pressures too much. I did lower the front there last week a few pounds. Didn't like it at all, and honestly made the front end feel a little more swirly. So I raised it back up to 20. Ooh, washout there, or washboard. Raise it back up to 20. I think I'm running 35, 36 in the rear. I do have a TPMS down there. It's flashing 36 rear, 20 front right now. So I think I dropped it to 17 last week and did not like that at all. Don't have really any issues with the rear grip yet. I'm sure if I got into some softer, muddier conditions, that'd be the case. But everything I've ridden so far has pretty much been hard packed. A little bit of mud here and there. So setup I have has worked well for that. I also have recently, I'm sure some of you have seen my video, I've recently done the clutch switch bypass modification, which has greatly increased the rideability of the bike, especially on these gravel roads. I no longer have that feeling that the rear is just going to slide on me due to too much engine braking. Guys can go back and check out that video of mine. Highly recommend that mod, even if you like just street riding. Do the mod. I have no idea why Kawasaki set these bikes up from the factory the way they did, but it is absolutely terrible. Until you've experienced that mod, you don't realize it. So I highly suggest checking it out. You can do a temporary version of the mod. I explained that in the video. Go back and check that out. Give her a try. Highly recommend. But yeah, this is the only thing I'm not really used to off-road riding, especially around here. You get a lot of limestone gravel roads. This is dust. It comes with the territory, I guess. Can't complain. Car ahead of me, I'll just kind of slow down, let the dust settle before I get there. But I mean, it's anybody that's going for like I did, and I can't recommend like new riders this is what you do, or seasoned riders this is what you do, but I'm just saying guys like me that are seasoned on the street, that are wanting to jump to dual sporting, off-road, just gravel road riding, it's just take your time. You'll eventually get the feel, get used to the feel of the bike. Just have to let it do its thing, let it dance underneath you. The bike has way more grip than I think you give it credit for. I'm still trying to figure out that myself. But I'm slowly figuring it out. Don't be afraid of the throttle. Throttle's actually your friend. Brakes are kind of your enemy. Not complete enemy, but throttle is more your friend off-road than your brakes are. You know, make baby adjustments, baby brake, baby the brakes, small steering adjustments, nothing too abrupt. I don't know, like I said, I'm no expert on this, just kind of wanted to make a video to share. Just kind of towed around on some of these gravel roads I have here. I don't think I've ever been on this one. As far as some of you guys going from street to dirt, everybody thinks they need to go out and buy all new gear. I kind of thought that myself. I did go buy more of an adventure style helmet. This is not it. This is just the helmet I've got my motovlog set up on. I did buy a Scorpion not AT950 modular adventure helmet. Actually like that a lot, and I think sometimes it's more comfortable than my Neotech here. A little cooler, obviously, better ventilation, but it is a little louder. That's why I like the motovlog setup in this helmet. It's quieter. But as far as riding gear, I just run my street gear. I have Climb Latitude suit, two-piece suit, which is technically a touring suit, but it's got all the DO3 armor, everything you need for off-road as well. Maybe not for hardcore off-road, but gravel roads and such, mild to moderate stuff, road gear will work just fine for. I did try a set of MX boots, full motocross boots, and yeah, they weren't going to work. There was no way. Way too stiff, way too aggressive. So luckily I picked up a pair of used, and I was actually able to sell them, make a few bucks on them, but not much, like 10 bucks, but it worked out. So as far as bike setup, I do highly recommend getting your suspension set up for your weight and your feel. I don't want to say I'm not one of these guys that says you have to set the correct sag, the exact sag that you need on a bike. But if it doesn't feel right to you, you're uncomfortable, you're unsure, you don't have the confidence in the way it feels, it's just going to screw with your head. So definitely get your bike set up that feels comfortable for you, then adjust as you go. So I did go with upgrading my rear shock and the front spring, or not the rear shock, but the rear spring and the front springs. A little stiffer on the rear, and went with progressives on the front. Gave me a much better feel without bottoming out everywhere. We took some of those trails down in the Smokies, just going over some boulders and rock ledges and dodging baby head boulders and stuff. I could definitely feel the suspension doing this work. I do believe at one point I actually told my friend, it's like, yep, I'm just going to kind of roll at this speed and let the suspension do what it needs to do. It worked out really well. Felt good. I went with the yellow Top Gun spring for the rear. I think it's an 8.1 kilogram per millimeter spring. I think the stock one's like 6.4. Don't quote me on that. I'm about 260, maybe 270 with gear on. The front, just straight up progressive springs. I think I went the 1.5 inches on the spacers. So that made that a little stiffer. Progressive springs gives you more resistance the harder the push on it, so you still got a little bit of bounce, still spring, a little bit of light spring up top to absorb the bumps. If you got a hard on the brakes or hit a big bump, big hole, it gets stiffer as it goes down to take those impacts. Lots of groundhogs out here on the road. Do have bar risers on, so I do have a nice one. I'm a tall guy, don't have much of a bend now. See right there, I'm in too low of a gear because I was not paying attention to the curve coming up, or too tall of a gear. I'm comfortable standing up. It doesn't freak me out per se. I just need to learn to stand up at the appropriate times. So yeah, bar risers. I still need to come up with a plan for the seat. I've tried some seat pads and some different covers. I'm fine for a 100-mile day. Any more than that, this thing just kills my tailbone. I'm sure some of you guys are the same way. But for the most part, the bike is done getting modified other than the seat, I think. I just kind of go out here and follow my Garmin around on these back roads like this. I just kind of look down and, hey, there's a road. Let's see where that goes. Even on stuff I haven't been on before. And that's what I'm enjoying the most about the bike so far, is I can just come out here and do this and hit stuff that I couldn't do on a street bike. Never knew what was down that road or up that path, so I never tried. I'm going to glance at my map here real quick. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little road that goes off to the angle there. I don't know what that is, but let's go down and find out. This is kind of how I just explore. Sometimes I come across those little trails or paths and it's nothing. Road. So most of these little township roads are all gravel around here. Enjoy getting out, enjoying the day. It's a little warm today. Got the vents closed in this helmet just to keep the wind out so the microphone doesn't pick it up, but it's not too unbearable. So like even on this here, I've got more confidence right now than I did when I first started this video. Just, I don't know, you just kind of forget you're on gravel sometimes once you get the feel for it. Yeah, that's a beautiful right here. I'm gonna scare this horse here. Lots of Amish out this way. Those thinking about these Motos Tractionator adventure tires, they do have a bit of a whine on the road. It's not terrible. I think it's more the front than anything. Usually don't hear it when I'm under braking or coming to a stop or doing highway speeds. I guess another thing I could recommend to some of the newer guys that have just kind of took it upon myself to try out a little bit. So if you're going down a road, don't always take the easiest path. So if you're going down a road with deep gravel and there's some little bit deeper stuff in the middle, I mean, obviously the line you're going to want to take is to stay out of that deep gravel. But sometimes if when you're learning, shoot for that gravel, get a feel for it. I mean, not enough to put yourself in any kind of danger or purposely lay your bike down, but just enough to get a feel to see how the bike's going to react. That way, when that occasion comes up that you do need to head for situations like that, you're semi-prepared for it. Yeah, kind of put yourself in some scenarios in a controlled environment to where at some point you need to be in those kind of situations. You're semi-prepared. It's kind of funny, I'm just out here taking roads, looking at the map. I have an idea where I'm at, but I really don't know where I'm at. I'm not really that far from my house. That just shows you how much stuff there is out there to explore when you finally get the right vehicle to do it. You can. I have no idea what to... Oh, okay. I know where I'm at now. I know where I'm at. Whew. A little swirly in the back end. It's actually a pretty neat road up here to the left. Took it the other day. So another thing I've learned on this bike, you know, everybody says ABS is terrible off-road. This is an ABS model. I did do the ABS bypass switch, which works wonderfully. Just reach down, shut the switch off, ABS disabled. But I actually find I like to leave it on, especially on like gravelly roads like this. But that rear ABS, it is a very, I don't know what you want to call it, a very lazy ABS system. It kind of kicks in late, and I've heard that Kawasaki designed it that way, which is great. It really does kind of give you a little bit of off-road ABS capabilities. Maybe not as fine-tuned as some of your higher-end bikes, you know, BMWs or whatnot, but it does a pretty decent job, especially for somebody that is used to having ABS. I find it slides just enough when you need it. Like I said, in gravelly situations, I'm sure if you're doing some gnarly stuff, you probably want your rear wheel to slide, and you know, I still have that capability once I have that skill set, but I do not have that skill set yet. My skill set is 40-50 mile per hour gravel roads and crawling over trails. That's where I'm at after almost 1,800 miles on the bike so far. Easy there, feller. Slow down, give me some air. Yeah, let's go this way. Ugh. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Try to keep saying this in every video, try to get more stuff out. Kind of done with the garage type things, I think. Now it's going to be more on the bike stuff like this, maybe trips. Did not take cameras with me on our trip down to the Smokies because that was a friend's trip. Didn't want to throw cameras in people's faces. Yeah, that was a big old tree that fell down. We had some wicked storms come through our area here a couple weeks back. From what I understand, there was like 3 different tornadoes within probably 5-6 miles of my house. And I think this is the area one of them came down through. Yeah, a tree snapped off 20 feet up. That's usually a sign of a tornado. And a big old thing uprooted. Damn. Well, higher speeds, I close my visor so you don't hear the wind as much. Straight ahead looks a little too straight. This way looks a little curvier. I like curvy roads on the road bike. I like curvy roads on the dirt bike. By the way, these bikes still handle well. With my current setup, this thing still handles phenomenally on curvy paved roads. It's down the Smokies where we went a couple weeks ago. It's an area known as Tail of the Dragon, 300 and whatever curves and 11 miles. Notorious motorcycle road. And we were riding these things like, basically like sport bikes. They handled phenomenally, even with these knobby type tires on. It's true dual sports. They handle just as well on the road as they do off. They don't do either one of them perfectly, but they do them both pretty damn good. Amish buggy. Slow her down so I don't spook the horse. I don't know why I'm whispering. I like the horse is going to hear me. Yeah, you guys come in Amish country, you come up on a horse, especially if you have a loud pipe or something that's going to throw the horse off. Slow down, just coast by it. It takes you a second. The Amish folks around here are super friendly. Man, there's a lot of them. It's gonna go that way. I gotta go past one of these folks, but the long road. Yeah, they're all super nice folks. Some of them will practically break their arm to wave at you when you go by. I'll just kind of follow behind. This poor horse is loaded down pretty good. It's like a few kids in there. Not a very long road. They're probably just pulling off up here anyway. Patience is a virtue. Looks like those kids are getting off anyway. A little dirty corner here. Street bike, I've been shitting my pants on it. I think I see where I'm at on the map. Grow up to some speed. And I'm not dissatisfied with the performance of this engine. It's exactly what I bargained for. It's exactly what I expected it to be. People call them pigs or tractors. I don't think it's a pig. It's definitely a tractor. It's got just enough, but not over the top too much. Seems like 60, 65 is their comfortable cruising point. Yeah, it'd do the higher speeds. Really not necessary. It's not what you buy these things for. So the guys that buy them complain about 80-mile-per-hour highway speeds. You bought the wrong damn bike. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not a road bike, but it will go on the road. It is not a dirt bike, but it will go off-road. You have to find that compromise in the middle, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's not the road I thought it was, but hey, it's dirt, so we're taking it. Actually, I think it's the same road we came in on earlier. I think I just did a big circle. It's alright. It's alright, alright, alright. See? A little swirly there. Where am I at again? Oh, okay. I know where I'm at. I think it's hilarious when I get to a spot and I'm like, where the hell am I? Got a little spot I want to exit this video on, but it's about another mile away, so hopefully I got enough battery to get me to that point. Right away that the power company has put up through a hillside. You can tell on the road I ain't nice to this thing. I wring its neck. I ride all my vehicles and bikes kind of hard. I'm a very aggressive rider slash driver. I do maintain my stuff. I'm a very proactive guy when it comes to maintenance. If they say change oil in 5,000, I change it in 3. If they say 7, I do it in 4. I'm always doing the maintenance ahead of schedule. Not because it needs it, just because I think it needs done. Alright. Here's the road. It's funny, this road doesn't say dead end, but it is a dead end. It's a road right here. Up here where this tree line is. It's technically not a road anymore. How's that? We're out here practicing archery. See, the left says private property. To the right, this doesn't say private property. Hopefully there's no trees down up here. See, this is probably where I need to stand up. And I'm too skittish to, but it's not terrible. Plus I get bashed in the face with these trees more than I am now. So yeah, it wasn't nothing really. Big rocks right here, damn. It's just kind of access to a farmer's field. Like I said, an electric company put this in, I think, for access to the power lines. Kind of ends here. I mean, you could go down through that field, but there's no access down below. Cut through that field there, you can see where that downed tree is there. And there's another road there, but there's a fence that follows that tree line, and you can't get through there. Maybe you could, but I'm not going to be a dick and jump a fence or something to do it. to the top of the hill here. Bark Buster just did its job there. Literally knocked the bark off that tree branch. And I'll do a little outro here, fellers, as I putter down this hill. I think that's all I got for this video. Appreciate y'all watching. If there's any bonus footage after this, it's just me be riding back to my house. And like I said, this wasn't really a how-to or nothing, just kind of my thoughts to date on what I've learned riding this old girl around. Everything's going to be a learning process. There are some little more technical roads and trails I can hit a little further away from my home. This video was just a little afternoon ride, waiting on my wife to get home from work. So I didn't want to venture off too much. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy some free entertainment. I'm not super entertaining, but hey, it's free. Any support you can give me by subscribing or following is appreciated. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm not monetized yet, but maybe I'll get there one day. I'm not looking to be one of these YouTubers that relies on this as a source of income, but I can make a few bucks here and there to put into the bike or get some new camera equipment or editing software, because I'm using some old stuff right now. It works, but it's not the greatest. So we'll catch you all later. Thanks again for watching. She gets swirly at 88. Don't suggest that with these tires. Really no need anyway. Could even be that front fender catching wind. Give you a little bonus, more bonus footage here. This is Knox Lake Wildlife Area. Yeah, nice. Somebody left their garbage down here. It's always classy. It's a nice little lake. I may have pointed it out in another video before. Go a few miles down the road to the marina. The cameras are still rolling. I'll cover that too. If anybody's interested, here's where my bike took a crap on me. downshifted right here, get set up for this corner, and that's where that cam chain tensioner let go. Coasted to this guy's front yard right here on the left. Alright, there's the marina. There's a lot more boat trailers down here than this. I guess it is a weekday. It's not much of a lake. The dam's right over there in that clearing. That last turnaround I did was the north end of the lake, or the upstream section of the lake, so yeah, not very big. Alright, that's it for the bonus footage. Thanks again, guys. Catch you later.